trade season in the NBA is a never-ending, ongoing cycle that lasts throughout the entire season all the way until the trade deadline comes. As we get further and further into the year, more and more teams will be looking to address some of their weaknesses, and in the case of contenders, or hopeful contenders, we could see some big names on the move in order to take that next step forward. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that reviewing Bleacher Report hypothetical trade articles has become a staple here, and they have once again dropped another batch of big blockbuster trade hypotheticals, so of course I'm back to review them. Before we start though, I wanted to thank Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Surfshark is a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network, and the thing about VPNs is that anybody using the internet could and should be using one. What they do for you is they create a security wall between you and the public Wi-Fi networks in order to encrypt your private data and protect your privacy. One of the biggest benefits of using this VPN is that you can unlock geo-restricted content on websites like Netflix, so if a show you want to watch isn't available in your location, but it is available elsewhere, you can still watch that show with just one easy click of a button. Plus, with Black Friday coming up, you can use Surfshark to search for better deals from different locations online shopping too. This week, Surfshark is offering a big Black Friday discount for you all, as you can get the service for 83% off, plus 4 free months on top of that when you use the link in the description of this video and apply promo code hoopsreference. Once again, thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and now we can get into the topic at hand. The first proposed blockbuster trade from the article we will be discussing today is between the Brooklyn Nets and San Antonio Spurs, and in it the Spurs get Kyrie Irving in exchange for Derek White, Thaddeus Young, and a lottery-protected 2023 first-round pick. The thought process behind this one is clearly just for the Nets to add some respectable rotational contributors that could definitely help a team in win-now mode instead of them waiting around for Kyrie Irving. Thad Young has been one of the most underrated role players in the league for a while now, as his versatility and balanced contributions on both ends of the floor are definitely what contenders will hope to add before the trade deadline, and Derek White is also a nice piece to have as well in your team. But the fact of the matter is that the Nets are going to remain incredibly hesitant to trade Kyrie Irving, and even if they do ever decide to test the waters of the trade market for him, they can definitely get better offers than this. On top of that, Kyrie going to San Antonio doesn't make much sense either, because the Spurs are kind of rebuilding right now, and Irving doesn't fit that timeline at all, nor would he be happy to go to an environment like that after going to Brooklyn specifically to compete for titles. There have already been rumors stating that Kyrie would consider retirement if he were traded away, and while he probably wouldn't do so if he was sent to another good team in a location with more lax vaccine requirements so that he could play, going to a rebuilding squad would probably motivate him to ponder retirement even further. So even though there is some good value in this offer on paper, the overall bigger picture tells me that this one would be quickly shot down in actuality. The next proposal in the article we'll be reviewing today is between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Detroit Pistons, and in it the Lakers receive Jeremy Grant and Rodney Magruder in exchange for Talen Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and Wayne Ellington. The Lakers are a bit of a mess right now after being a large majority of fans' favorites to sit atop the Eastern Conference before the season. They clearly need a change somehow, and they actually have some expendable assets to throw around here as shown. Talen Horton-Tucker has played his way into having some significant value so far this season, as he's averaging about 16 points per game since his return, and at just 21 years old, he's got so much more room to grow. The Pistons, on the flip side, are a team clearly tanking without much hope for short-term results, but they're also a great destination for young players to go to possibly develop moving forward. Meanwhile, Jeremy Grant sticks out there as the one piece that they have have, that doesn't really seem to fit their timeline, and even though he seems to be enjoying himself in Detroit, helping guide the young core along as their leader, eventually teams will want to try to trade for him because he is obviously very talented. His fit would be perfect alongside Anthony Davis and LeBron James too, because even though Davis has always been very hesitant to play center full-time, it would be easier for him if they had a more natural power forward, as skilled as Grant is, to pair alongside him in the front court, while still allowing LeBron to play his natural small forward position. I surprisingly really like this offer for both sides, and think it's definitely one of the more realistic ones included in today's batch of proposals, but the Lakers would probably need, at the very least, some sort of draft compensation in their offer. The next proposal in the article is between the Atlanta Hawks and the Minnesota Timberwolves, and in it the Hawks get Karl-Anthony Towns, Taurean Prince, and Jake Layman in exchange for John Collins, Danilo Gallinari, Cam Reddish, and a 2022 first-round pick. Last week, I would have said that Karl-Anthony Towns' frustrations were starting to boil over a bit, and we could be in for another big-name star looking for a trade, because at the time, the Wolves were on a 6-game losing streak. But ever since they ended that losing streak, they've started to get things back on track, and are in 10th place in the West, which is still within striking distance of the playoffs, with a lot of basketball left to be played. The Hawks would absolutely love this deal, because Towns and Trae Young combining in the same offense would form one of the most lethal two-man games the league will see, and especially with the slow start that the Hawks have gotten off to, currently sitting 11th place in the East, they could use a spark themselves. The problem, though, is that the Wolves have to see through what the trio of Towns, D'Angelo Russell, and Anthony Edwards can accomplish before doing anything drastic, and on top of that, I still believe Towns has more value than what this proposed offer suggests, so it's likely a no from the perspective of the Timberwolves. And finally, the last proposed trade from the article that we'll be reviewing today is between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks, and in it, the teams do a 1-for-1 swap of Ben Simmons for Jrue Holiday. Of course, you can't have a list of hypothetical trades without a Ben Simmons deal being included at this point. This one's pretty weird because I understand why it could be something that both teams consider on paper, but at the same time, so many factors tell me that this wouldn't happen. People have been begging Ben Simmons to play with the aggressiveness that Giannis Antetokounmpo plays with for a long time, so while you would think that pairing them would be good for him, I feel as though it would hamper both of their abilities putting them on the same team. Only one guy can be the focal point of the offense with that level of aggressiveness, while being struggling jump shooters on top of it, and that pairing would hamper the team's spacing. The Bucks' defense would be unbelievable with a Defensive Player of the Year winner and a runner-up to the award playing alongside each other in their primes though, so that is certainly intriguing. Now, for the Sixers, as a team hoping to propel themselves back into contention as a result of a Ben trade, they probably don't want to trade him to one of their biggest competitors standing in their way in the East. Holiday is also off to a pretty rough start to the season, and he's already been a streaky scorer as it is, so while his defense would help replace what Ben brings to the table on that end of the floor, I feel as though this is an awkward fit for both teams involved. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and go check out Surfshark linked down in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.